Welcome to Market Matters. I'm Nadia Hassan together with Khoo, Chuang. It's really hard to believe that actually we only have 1 day left before we say goodbye to 2015.
Well, 2015, I can't wait to see the end of it because it was such a terrible year.
Exactly. It was just a bad year for all in concern. And yeah, some people just can't wait to see the back of it. 2014 was actually quite bad because we had the 3 plane crashes. You thought it couldn't get any worse. It apparently got any worse.
And then natural disaster city happened. You had the ringgit crisis, and 1MDB, your GST, all kinds of stuff.
Exactly, and not to forget oil price as well, which we're going to talk about. But actually, the last 2 days before the end of the year, KLCI seems a bit sprightly, up about 0.5% to 1,693 plus some change. And it was actually up as much as 1,706 in midday trading, which
above
was
the 1,700 point level.
Exactly, but it cannot contain itself and came too soon.
The momentum.
Exactly. So KLCI is actually 4.4% up in the last 2 weeks of December. We actually are quite used to it. They call it the Santa Claus rally, right?
Or the year-end window dressing.
Or whatever, but all within the same thing. Now, I'm really curious what actually is going to happen for, I'm really curious what's actually going to happen for the next couple of weeks, so to speak.
Probably some profit taking because we're up 4.5% in the last 2 weeks.
Well, we'll have to see what the new year kind of brings or whether people are just battening down the hatches. Volume was 1.7 billion shares, which is actually a little on the lesser side, considering sometimes it's usually about 2. Value is about 1.8 billion. Gainers 7-Eleven, Malaysia, Tenaga, and Public Bank. Losers, MyESG, Chinwell, and Hevia Board, which we're actually just talking. So talking about, just quick for the wrapping up for the regional. Regionally, it was a really funny story because it was mixed. It's like all the Asian markets could not make up their mind.
Yeah, the Japanese and the Chinese and the Australians were up, and the downs were the Hong Kong and the South Koreans. There was some concern in the market about oil prices, oil futures pointing downwards. The CIMB group data pointing to February spots oil at about $37 and March spot oil at about $38. So not very good prognosis-wise.
Well, especially for us, actually, who are oil-producing nations. It's a flutter, right? I see flutters in oil price, and it just gets everybody's hopes up, but it can never sustain.
Well, the Saudis are not helping.
Well, the Saudis are saying, just take it and bend over. Hang Seng actually down, as you mentioned, 0.5% to 21,882.15. And if you look at Nikkei, like you say, it's positive 0.3% or 52 points to 1753.63. I'll be watching the Japan economy next year because Abe, I think he can feel his head on the block
What
already.
Japan economy?
There, you're terrible.
Japanese
You're
economy?
terrible. They do have one, if not for the scandals. But anyway, moving on to talking about scandals or interesting things to talk about. Hot stock of the day. I hope you've heard of this company.
It's a bit of a tongue twister.
Yeah, I hope you've heard of this company, mostly because I haven't. Kumpulan H&L High-Tech Bhd.
No, it's not a sports shoe maker.
No, it's not a sports shoe maker. I don't know what. I didn't even realize about this company.
I think maybe H&L, the husband and wife's names, Henry and Linda.
Oh, maybe that's a good thing. That's why they have a 1 right in front of high-tech, because these guys closed up, limit up at 30% to 1 ringgit and 48. It's a quiet little stock, as we mentioned. Nobody's heard of it. If you actually look at the chart that we have for you in the share, how it tracks the share price, it's like nothing, boom.
Like like the heart just woke up.
Exactly.
But you see, there was no volume in stock. I mean, today's volume of 362,000 shares, which is virtually nothing in the big picture, was the most volume traded in 1 day for the whole of 2015. That's astounding.
Exactly. So, and this is the highest that they've had. Isn't it the highest they've had for like 4 years for this particular company? It's like, in terms of their share price, it's huge. Okay,
so by way of background, the manufacturing and sales of precision engineering molds for the electrical and electronic industry, which is, I guess, points us to the interest. And the earnings really have really driven the share price. EPS up 35% to 14.5 cents per share. Net profit for the fourth quarter jumped 34% to 5.3 million ringgit. It, kind of indicates where the rest of the market is with the export and manufacturing businesses.
The thing is, right, you can, do you think this 30% jump is all earnings? Because if you look at the earnings, right, it's marginally up on the top line, only 32.5% up on the bottom line. It's not as if they rose 1,000%. It makes me wonder if there is something brewing behind, or is it just because people are just picking through the bones of the KLCI to see if there's any meat left?
Maybe. Well, the main business segment, which is the manufacturing, they had a 5-fold increase in margins and profits because of higher margins. I think it's because of the US dollar to the ringgit.
Yes.
They're enjoying all that bounce.
So maybe it's that bandwagon, right? I think everybody is just looking for any company, even ones that belong to Henry and Linda,
Yeah.
who are actually moving. But just to wrap it up, because we've got to move on, the fact is we're looking at Kumpulan H&L High-Tech Bhd. This company rose limit up today to 148. It's the most trading it's seen in something like ludicrous like 5 years. And we opine that maybe it's an exchange story and based on actually the currency, because they actually did have pretty decent earnings. Moving on to our stocks with momentum, I get the platter stuck in my head because all I hear is only you, only World Group, right?
Yeah, positive momentum by the Edge Research. $3.03, down by 2 cents this morning, this afternoon. This is a stock which listed in November 2014 at 88 cents. They have more than tripled in 2015. And it's really because I think it's catalyzed in parts by the Komtar Tower, which is going to be their new business, theme parks, restaurants and all that. But they've also done really well in terms of their rollout away from the Genting parent exercise.
Yeah, so the fact is, right, we did talk about they're pegged with positive momentum, and Only World had a very little boost from the CIMB report by a buddy of ours, which is actually Marcus, who we know, and talking about all his stuff. So he really loves, I think, Only World Group. He does say that with this whole Komtar thing, you are looking at maybe
$6 to $8 a share.
$6 to $8 a share. And the company itself has actually said they are on the acquisition trail. You know, they bought Escape Room, which I always ask, have you been?
5.5 million ringgit in April this year.
Yeah.
There was a profit guarantee over 2 years. That's not bad.
Yeah, exactly. That profit guarantee, I think, made a lot of people sit up that, because even though this particular attraction is not it's not as if they're buying Universal Studios, the profit guarantee in itself, I thought, was a good thing for them.
Well, the way this country is going, there'll probably be a lot of Malaysians needing to escape in 2016. So
unfortunately, I've been in the
a lot of business. Is it good?
I think you can only escape one way. I think there's no escape from the crushing reality of life. Yes. So the thing is, positive momentum. I think they do have a lot of good things going for them. $8 a share. Do you believe it?
Yeah, maybe, because a lot of the assumptions that CIMB have used at $10 per ticket to go to Komtar, whereas for example the comparative is about $30 to $40 in Genting. These are very reasonable assumptions, and they haven't imputed any amusement or theatre amusement revenue in there. Once they put it all together and they raise the ticket prices by a little bit, $6 to $8 is their assumptions for 2017, 2018.
And let's not forget, Genting is going to have that new amusement park in 2017. That is going to be beneficial for them. But in the meantime, I think they're doing other things just to make sure that Genting is not the only thing they do. But anyway, just to bring it all home for you, the fact is we're looking at Only World Group. They are pegged with positive momentum by the Edge Research. So this company has been on an acquisition trail. That's what it's planning to do. And not only that, CIMB has come up with quite a bullish report saying that with the new earnings coming in from Komtar, you may, in a glimmer of hope, see $6 to $8 eventually for the share.